It won't stay there. I'm telling you guys, I just can't.
Well, you don't have to wear
The
it.
woman with the obstreperous name tag is Melinda Snodgrass. She was the executive story editor of Star Trek Next Generation, and she is kind enough to actually appear with us on neverendingpanel.com. Melinda, what other things have you done besides, well, the big, huge thing, Star Trek Next Generation?
The elephant in the room?
Yes.
Mention them briefly, and then we'll talk about the other thing.
Okay, I was on Reasonable Doubts. I was a co-executive producer on Profiler. I've written a lot of pilots and I've written episodes, and I've done some feature films that never got made, but were a lot of fun to do. So that's my background in Hollywood. But I started in a book tradition, went to Hollywood, got wheelbarrow loads of money, went back to books.
Oh, we're working on the
We need to
wheelbarrow
do the
loads of
wheelbarrow
money.
loads.
I like that part of the story.
We skipped that.
We seem to have gone right over that, Eitan. We'll hit her up for that, how to do
get
that.
the
We have the
wheelbarrow
empty
loads of
wheelbarrow right now.
Yeah, well, that's because
So
we're
does
book
credit card
writers.
bills.
Yeah.
I understand you have a new book that's coming out. Can you tell us about it?
Right, it's actually a sequel to The Edge of Reason, which was, it's called The Edge of Ruin. It's coming out in April. And basically, it was my reaction to a celebration on the eve of the millennium in 1999. And I was sitting with my friends and a bunch of writers, and we were drinking margaritas and watching the fireworks go on
Writers
around the
drinking?
world. Shut up, I know, it's a horrible secret. And I thought, wait a minute, we're about to enter the 21st century. You know, where is my moon base? Where is my air car? I don't have any of this. And I live in New Mexico.
Jetpacks.
Yes, yeah, rocket boots. But I kept thinking, I live in a state in which people hire psychics to tell them how their horse is feeling, and who believe in crystal power, and who have, think they have guardian angels. And I thought,
I'm
what
thinking this is
happened?
Arizona?
Actually, New Mexico,
New Mexico,
Santa Fe,
close enough,
very
right,
woo-woo.
right.
And I thought, there has to be an explanation. This just can't be because we're so stupid as a species. We would actually go this way and get dumber as we progress.
There is a movie.
So I thought, there must be an explanation, and that was sort of the genesis of this book idea, which is the battle between reason and science and rationality, and religion and superstition on the other side, in this sort of age-long war that's been going on.
I
So
love it.
that's-
I love that concept. I'm reading a book called Holographic Universe by Michael Talbot, in which he sort of talks about science and spirituality and paranormal, blending all of it together. And it's been a source of contention for quite some time. Very interesting. Yeah.
So you came up with this idea in 1999. It's 2010. Does it take that long to write an original concept in science fiction?
No, it just takes that long sometimes to get it sold.
Hey, dude, it took
Things
us
to
like
happen.
10 years.
It
Give
does.
her a break, man.
Actually, 8.
8.
Almost 8 years exactly.
Well, cut her some slack, dude. So what were some of the themes that came up in here that you were thinking, oh, maybe I shouldn't do that? Because this is the third rail, really, once you start getting into religion and science.
Well, what I did, when I initially got the concept for the book, I was trying to cheat. I was trying to say, well, it's Odin and it's this other stuff. And then I thought, no, if you're going to take on religion, you have to take on religion. So, I talk about the big J.
Take a shower, grab that third rail,
And
soak it
just
wet, and go for it.
and go for it. And amazing. I was actually kind of hoping that I would be burned in effigy, or they would rail against my books on the 700 Club or something. But unfortunately, it never happened. So I never got the huge sales that would have been generated. It was
annoyingly tolerant American Christians. What's wrong with that?
I was amazed.
This woman's criticizing you.
I really was, and I have a character in the book, Cross, who's actually a manifestation of Jesus Christ, who lives in a cardboard box out behind Prometheus's office building, because he has this tendency to shatter into pieces every time there's a bombing at a Hindu temple, and then there's some other event in Jerusalem, and then the crazy Christianists decide to beat up a gay kid and kill him in Wyoming. Then this avatar of the merciful Jesus just flies into pieces, and so he has to live outside. And I'm actually writing a story about him now, where he's sort of a hard-boiled noir detective in 1934. And I'm going,
I love it.
Jesus, hard-boiled detective. So
You ought to protest!
somebody
My
do
name's
something.
Christ.
Somebody
Jesus Christ,
burn
and I'm a
my
private
book.
eye.
Somebody have a book burning. I was really surprised, because I was actually concerned enough that I went with the unlisted number, and I had a P.O. box, because everybody was saying, oh my God, you're nothing. So,
All right.
but people who read it seem to like it. That's been nice.
So I have a sort of a side question. Eitan and I have had the pleasure of interviewing on Neverending Panel Rob Sawyer, who, as you know, now has his Flash Forward TV show on, and we had asked him, what was it like being a solo writer and now being thrown into a crew and having to write that way because he's become part of, I guess, the staff writers, and that's how we sort of get him into the panel in LA. So you're going the opposite. You were used to writing with a team, and now I guess you're
one
writing
of the most
solo.
constricted Bibles in television.
Yeah.
Right, and now you've gone from that team and getting all that, and obviously if I'm
So you're
not
Jesus
collaborating,
Christ
I
fired
can't
up.
imagine not
So
collaborating.
it gives you a lot more freedom.
So yeah, what has that experience been essentially from the team to solo? Frightening, interesting.
Well, I
liberating,
wrote books before I went to Hollywood,
Gotcha.
and so I actually like being on a show. I like the energy of being in a room with other writers and throwing ideas out. I mean, we have a tradition that started actually on Star Trek, ironically, which we call the dumb stick, because I had this sort of glittery wand thing that somebody gave me as a good luck piece when I got my job, and we were trying to break a new Star Trek episode, and you're just throwing out ideas, and some of them are just stupid as hell, but you kind of go, well, okay. And one of the writers said, give me that dumb stick. And then he held it and he said something really stupid. But from that sort of dumb idea, we said, well, yeah, that doesn't quite work, but if we did this other thing, it would be great. And so I love that kind of energy, because sometimes I'm sitting there at the computer staring at the screen and I'm going, I don't know how to do this scene. Is this just awful? I have no, and if I can walk down the hall to a
Right.
fellow writer's office and go, does this make any sense at all? And I can sort of talk through the scene with them, and they'll go, yeah, but maybe you ought to think of it from this other angle, or what if you
Right.
started it here? And you don't have that luxury as a solo novelist. I mean, we
Right.
have a writers group, we meet once a month, and that's great. But it's that immediate help, that immediate feedback that you can get. So I actually love it. Now, if you're really precious about your deathless prose, then this is not for you, because the executive producer is going to rewrite you.
Right.
I mean, you just know that going in. They're going to run it through the typewriter before it goes to the set. If you're lucky, it doesn't happen. On Reasonable Doubts, I never got rewritten, and that was a real relief. But
Right. I know that because Eitan and I are a collaborative team, if he's not available with his phone, because I get so frustrated because I'm used to having this sort of, I want the instant answer, pick up the damn phone, I need to know where you wanted to go, what was your thinking here, because I'm stuck on
How
something.
would he react to this
How would you
situation?
react to that? And ring, 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 ring,
Hello, we appreciate how Eitan's not here. However, if you leave a message, I'll get back to you when I give a crap.
Okay, on that note, thank you, Melinda, very much for being on NeverEndingPanel.com.
thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Nice meeting you, Eitan.
Yes, man, you go.